Hi, my name is Chris Lyon. I am the project manager for the U.S. Army Ground Forces and Special Operations project here at Super PACs. I will be giving a project management report and on a couple different issues or events that we have had. So without further ado, let's get into event number 1. What is the event? We've had a problem with the refrigerated module. And what is the problem with the refrigerated module? It is too large for the design backpack pouch. So with this being our issue, what is our course of action going to be for the refrigerated module? Due to time constraints, I personally feel like it would take way too long to have us and the vendor go back and reproduce all of the modules at a smaller size and then reship them back to us. With our time constraints, I just don't feel that that is a good course of action. So what is my course of action? It's, like I like to say, form, fit, and function. That is means that we can go back to our design team and redesign the backpacks, and we will redesign them to make the refrigerated pouch bigger. And by making this refrigerated pouch bigger, it will accommodate the size of the refrigerated module. So with that being our course of action, what are our resources going to be for this module? So first we have budget, and under our budget we're going to have cost of rework. Any previously made backpacks will need to be reworked. This will take additional material, and with additional material comes the costs of material on hand, and then any purchasing of material that we would need to do with that. Secondly, we have our costs of labor. I am predicting that extra labor costs and overtime costs are going to be in play here, and these are going to offset the gap in production. Next item that we have here is human capital. With this, employees may be asked to cross-train and work in other areas. Some employees may be better at some skill sets than others, and we can do some cross-training and whatnot there, so we have the proper labor in the areas that we need. Also, overtime may be required to help the production gap. So this is another area that may be asked of employees to pitch in and help out. Next is our impact to schedule. I'm estimating that we will lose about a week to redesign and retest the backpacks to fit the module into the pouch. I estimate another 1 to 2 weeks to rework the previously manufactured backpacks. And then finally, our impact to supplies. With this, it may create a possible shortage of backpack material, as rework will cause more material to be used, and then, as we talked earlier, the cost effect on this material as well. So let's get into our second event. What is the event? There is a problem with the radio module. What is the problem with the radio module? The problem is that the company that was to build the radio module has closed down, leaving us looking for a supplier for the radio module. So what is our course of action? I think our best course of action for the radio module is to find a new supplier. We will contact other manufacturers in the area who are radio manufacturers. We will contact them with the radio specs that we are looking for, and seeing who in this industry can help us with creating this radio. And then from those different manufacturers. We will narrow it down to one based on when this radio module can be completed, and of course the cost factor to play in that as well, as we are working with a budget. Finally, what are our resources for event number 2? First off, the budget. There's a change in costs. Having to work with a new supplier may cause the cost per unit to change. I'm estimating within a 5 to 10% change there, give or take, depending on what we can work out with those manufacturers. Secondly, we may need extra labor or overtime to help offset production gap. Then there would be costs involved for labor and, of course, overtime costs with that as well, which would affect our budget. Next, human capital. Again, employees may be asked to cross-train and work in other areas as seen fit to help get the correct amount of labor in the correct areas, and overtime may be required to help offset the production gap. Our next area that we had is the impact to schedule. I'm estimating another 3 or 4 weeks to receive these new radio modules after the supplier has been picked to help us with that. And as far as I could see, we should still be able to continue production of the backpacks and add the radio module when it becomes available to us. That is something that we can add in to the backpack after they are produced, and we could go from there. Finally, impact to supplies. We will be waiting on the supplier for the radio modules, and I do not see that any other supplies would have any changes in this event. If there's any questions on any of the events or issues that I brought up, now is the time to ask. If not, thank you for your time.